Theresa May last night faced a mass walkout by the government's social mobility team. The Prime Minister faces a fresh crisis as former Labour Cabinet Minister Alan Milburn, who chairs the government's Social Mobility Commission, said he and his 3 colleagues were resigning from their roles. Among those resigning is also leading Conservative Gillian. In his resignation letter to the Prime Minister, Mr. Milburn claimed that dealing with Brexit has meant the government does not seem to have the necessary bandwidth to ensure the rhetoric of healing social division is matched with the reality. Mr. Milburn's intervention has come after the release of Social Mobility Commission's annual report last week, which found that Britain has 65 cold spot areas where social mobility is constrained, of which 60 had voted to leave the European Union. Related articles. May warned EU must meet Britain's Brexit demands before. It won't happen. Ireland will not derail EU deal. In the letter, he added, whole communities and parts of Britain are being left behind economically and hollowed out socially. The growing sense that we have become an us and them society is deeply corrosive of our cohesion as a nation. As the Commission's work has demonstrated, the 20th century expectation that each generation will do better than the last is no longer being met. At a time when more and more people are feeling that Britain is becoming more unfair rather than less, social mobility matters more than ever. Mr. Milburn has called for the government to do more to tackle the fault lines in education, poor wages and housing if they want to boost social mobility. The former social mobilities are also warned that a rise of political extremes would be likely to result from failing to deal with the social inequalities which contributed to fueling the Brexit vote. He said, "The worst position in politics is to set out a proposition that you're going to heal social divisions and then do nothing about it. It's almost better never to say that you'll do anything about it." It's disappointing at least that the government hasn't got its shoulder to the wheel in the way it should deal with these structural issues that lead to social division and political alienation in the country. In America for 30 years real average earnings have remained flat. Now here the Chancellor is predicting that will last for 20 years. That has a consequence for people, but a political consequence as well. It means more anger, more resentment and creates a breeding ground for populism. Related articles. EU to control British aviation after Brexit as May steps over line. Labour chaos, now Corbyn does want second Brexit referendum. Brussels scrambling for no deal failure with emergency task force.